Yo, homies, thank you guys so much for clicking on the video. As always, man, I hope that you guys are having a dope day. Listen, I just want to let you guys know, you can look in the mirror and find like a million things wrong with yourself. Or you can look in the mirror and be like, I'm good, I have my health, and I'm thankful, and it makes you feel better about yourself. This separation is literally crazy. I have a few topics to go over in this video. And as always, man, I want you guys to hit me up in the comment section. Let me hear your thoughts on the whole thing. And one thing you guys know about me is that I love to just be jumping through the comment section to be like, hey, homie, like, how you doing? What's up, fam? Like, that's my thing. I love to hear what you guys have to say, right? So I was talking to a couple different YouTubers and I was asking them, I'm like, hey, how do you feel like the community is divided? Like, how do you feel like where the separation lies? We have the new players, we have the casuals, and you got the tryhards, okay? Now, I get it. Everybody has different ideas. Warframe is a game that's made up of like magic school bus ideas, beautiful ideas from all different people in the community, to the point to where everybody, says something and Warframe is like, oh, we like that. Let's, put that in the game. And then either we love it or we hate it. But the point is, it helps the game in some kind of way because you give them fruitful ideas. That's pretty lit. I like that, right? Community feedback helps push the game. But the thing is, I feel like the separation comes in when you give an idea and you have a certain type of player out there that doesn't play that type of way, or they don't like that type of content, then they are completely against your idea. They want to take your idea down. You can post something about, hey, I feel like this is a good way on how to help Excellent slot mods. I feel like this is a good way on how to rework this Warframe. I feel like this is a good way on how to, make the game a little bit better on how to help out for enemy scaling or whatever the case may be, right? The thing is, if your idea doesn't fit that person who is reading it, a lot of the times those people tend to be against you and they think your idea is stupid, or they don't want to hear it, or they downvote it or just delete it because you're not fitting the generalized way of how they like to play, which means that your idea doesn't fit the game, which shouldn't be the way on how it's looked upon. The way how it's looked upon is, the way how it's supposed to be looked upon is, does this idea help the game? Would this idea make the game fun in some ways, not just for your playstyle? You kind of see what I'm saying? Now, you guys know me. I'm always pushing for the end game content. And the reason for that is I don't understand people that don't want end game content, because the thing for me is, I understand that the game needs end game content. Every game needs end game content. For the love of God, Maple Story 2 has endgame content. What are we doing? I always try to look at the game from a marketing standpoint. I always try to look at the game from a developer standpoint, to the point to where you're like, okay, what is actually going to keep players in this game? What is going to keep the attention span of a lot of different players? Now, when you look at the game like that, you can kind of see like what it's really missing, instead of looking at the game like, oh, I want this fashion frame, oh, I want this. A lot of people look at it in a very small-minded type of way, to where they just want a color palette, they just want something else. But I look at it in the long survivability grand scheme of things with Warframe. And that's why I always feel like, hey, this is kind of like really important. You may not think that it's important right now, but it's really hurting a lot of different players, which turns people away from the game. Now, I know a lot of people play the game without having any meaning to it. And one thing that I always feel like was missing with the community is that they don't understand the meaning. Like, there's no meaning in Warframe. Like, what is your meaning in Warframe? Is it to grind? You say a grind simulator, but a grind simulator makes no sense. What are you actually grinding for? What is the purpose of your grind? Every grinding simulator has a purpose. There's no purpose that's here. And that's what I feel like people are missing in the grand scheme of things with the separation. Okay. And I feel like the casual players and the tryhards should be the people that actually come together in the community and can actually decide on some ideas. You shouldn't be able to just, take away somebody's ideas from people who are just, trying to upload things and give their input to the game to what they feel like could be better. Because even me, I give my input, but there's a lot of different players out there that give way better inputs than I do, who are not YouTubers or streamers. They just have generalized, really great ideas for what could help the game. Now, this separation also came in with raids. Now, you guys let me know what you feel about this topic in the comment section, because how do you guys feel about raids? Do you guys think raids should have been taken away? Because a lot of people has been talking to me about raids, and I've even talked to a couple different YouTubers, and they're like, listen, I don't feel like raids should have been taken away. Now, Warframe did say, just to quote them, that raids will come back later on sometime in the future. And a lot of people just don't believe that it will come back. I hopefully do believe that it comes back. But when raids come back, what will it get? Because arcanes were taken from raids to give to the Eidolons. And the thing about it is, I didn't really get it because if you looked at the raid, raids were actually taught to newer players and casual players by the veteran players of the raids. I had people teach me to raid too. I was like, oh shoot, kind of cool. And it brought you a different sense of teamwork in Warframe. The only thing that was missing from raids, the reason why people weren't playing it is because there were no explanation. Just like how there was no explanation for new players. When new players get in the game, you still need us to explain it to you, and that's a huge separation for what we're not pushing. We need greater understanding for, like, in the game, for when people are doing things. You shouldn't have to seek out other players to really help you as hardcore as we have to help you. There's no introduction to, like, hey, this is how raids work. This is what you want to do with your team. And I feel like that is the reason to why it pushed a lot of people away from raids. Now, if raids weren't your thing, and if you did get the opportunity to play raids, why didn't you play it? Why didn't you like it? Or why did you love raids? Let me know in the comment section. So when you look at these separations on how it went, having Vahek there, it was very much the same thing every time. Because when you look at it, having Vahek at the end point of the raid, of the lore raid, it's the same thing as having an Eidolon there. When you guys think about it, if you would have made it through all those obstacles, get the Vahek, and it was an Eidolon there, it would have been literally no different. Like, when you think about doing raids and going through on the plains, it would have been amazing with raids taking you directly to the plains to go there to fight the Eidolons. I don't see the difference in between it. And DE did say that there was manpower. But the thing is, there were no dedication to any from anyone at DE, basically, to raids. There were none. There was rarely update. There was glitches that was there for months that people kept talking about on the forums, and it took so long for anybody to ever address it because raids wasn't a top priority, because it was, I think, 3 to 4% or 5% of the players that were playing it. And the reason to why players weren't playing it, from a lot of people that I did understand, that I did talk to, was there were no explanation. There's people that's like, hey, I get in a group, they're sitting there in raids for 4-5 hours trying to get past just the little parts to where you have to stand on, which is not raids' fault. It's the explanation and the disconnect with the information that's supposed to be given. And once again, if our player base can always come together to help out people that was trying to learn the raids, or help out newer players, try to teach them on where to go since there's no information in the game, why can't we come together to come to a decision on when these updates are coming out? Like, hey, we feel like this is good in the game. Hey, I support this idea too, because I feel like even though I don't play it, I feel like the overall benefit of the game will be greater by having this in there. But no, a lot of players are like, nah, I don't play it. Throw it away. Throw the whole thing away. We don't want it. You see, that's the crazy part right there that always gets me. And it's the same way with reworks, and it's the same way when something is coming out. We're so divided on it. Like, being divided isn't a bad thing. Having your own community standpoint on what you want to do, it's not bad. But when you're divided with the overall outcome of the game to where you want to stop other people's ideas and other people's way of helping the game, then that's a problem. That's like a huge separation, because remember, Warframe got the we live together. But most of the community don't be living together. We fight each other on updates all the time. It's the same thing when things got nerfed, like the Toncore. The Toncore got nerfed. I'm sorry to bring up these wounds, because a lot of people were complaining that the weapon's too strong and they didn't use it. But if you didn't use it, why does it bother you? And now we got weapons even stronger than the Toncore, but nobody's saying anything. It's just so fickle of a way of thinking that people fight for things that they just don't like, and those people seem to be a lot louder. And it's always been like that. People who cry for things that they don't want, like, I don't like it. I don't like none of it. Throw it away. It burns. I don't like it. It's killing everything. No, I wasn't ready. But the people who are like, hey, I feel like this overall update will help the game, I feel like this is a good way on how to help Riven's mutation. I feel like this is a good way on how to help Rivens as a whole with just the roles. I feel like this is a good way on how to help this update, you know, try to make things a little bit better. People are like, nah, forget all that. We don't care. But that separation, I kind of just want everybody, even if we are separated with the communities that we play with, come together to be like, okay, this would be a great overall thing for Warframe, to where I can see it in the future bringing in newer players, because if you love the game, like I said, you want to see the game succeed. You know what I'm saying? And these are things that are actually important to me. And I know I always clown. That ain't never gonna stop. I'm gonna be trolling you guys till the day I die. You know what I'm saying? Atlas sucks, by the way. And Nezha, not Nezha. God dang, I hate him so much that I always talk about him. But Thanksgiving is coming up, and I gotta roast a turkey. And the only bird I know is freaking Zephyr. Okay. But other than that, man, I hope that you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, leave me your thoughts in the comment section. Leave the video with a thumbs up. Much love to you guys. And listen, come back to these videos. Let me know what you guys think about Fortuna, because it is going to be dropping. And I will catch you guys later on the next Warframe video. God dang, Rio, you trying to be a spokesman? Is that what you trying to be? You trying to think you cool, huh? You think you're gonna do that?